Get ready, because the entire internet is about to get a huge behind-the-scenes security upgrade. And honestly, it's a fantastic step forward for every single one of us online. Okay, let's dive right into what's happening.
So here it is. This is the heart of the change right here. You know those digital ID cards for websites? Their security certificates? Well, their valid lifespan is getting sliced right in half, from the 90 days we have now all the way down to just 45. So you might be wondering, what's really pushing this huge shift? Well, you've got to know this isn't just some random decision from one company. Nope. This is a massive, coordinated upgrade for the whole web, all designed to make it a much safer place. Yeah, this isn't optional. It's a mandatory move required by the CA/Browser Forum. That's the group that kind of sets the rules for this whole industry. And it means every single publicly trusted certificate authority, or CA, has to get on board. It's a unified, carefully planned step forward for everyone. All right, so we know what's happening and who's making it happen, but the really big question is, why? I mean, why is a shorter certificate lifespan actually a more secure one? Let's break down the thinking behind it.
Okay, so let's just imagine for a second. A website's digital certificate, the very thing that proves it's legitimate and keeps your data safe, gets stolen or compromised by some bad actor.
Well, the solution is beautifully simple. By chopping that certificate's life down to just 45 days, you just drastically shrink the window of opportunity for an attacker to do any damage. It really is that simple. Less time equals less risk. So what you get are two huge security wins. First, you're limiting the potential damage of any breach. And second, you're making the whole process of certificate revocation, which is just a fancy way of saying canceling a bad certificate, way more efficient across the entire internet.
And it's not just about the certificate's life. Think about this. After you prove you own your domain, there's this little grace period where you can get new certificates easily. That period is also shrinking. And I mean shrinking dramatically. We're going from 30 days all the way down to just 7 hours. It's just another security layer, making sure domain control is proven way, way more often.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. A change this big sounds like it could cause some chaos, right? Well, that's exactly why the industry has put together a really careful 3-stage plan to roll this thing out over several years. It's all going to happen in 3 clear, deliberate stages. Okay, so here's the roadmap. First up, starting in May 2026, anyone who wants to can opt in and start testing the new 45-day certificates. Then, in February 2027, we hit this middle step where the default for everyone becomes 64 days. And finally, the big one, in February 2028, the entire web makes the final switch to that 45-day standard. It's all very gradual, so no surprises. So that's the big picture. But what does this actually mean for you, especially if you're running a website? Let's get right into your action plan. And I've got some fantastic news to kick things off. For the vast, vast majority of you who are already using modern automated systems for your certificates, you probably won't have to do a single thing. Seriously, these systems were built for this.
But you know it's always smart to double check. So, first, just verify your automation is ready for shorter cycles. Second, look into a feature called ACME Renewal Information, or ARI for short. It's a great tool that helps your system renew at the perfect time. Now, if you can't use ARI, a good rule of thumb is just to set your renewals for about 2/3 of the way through the certificate's life. And finally, just make sure you've got monitoring set up to scream at you if a renewal ever fails. And this is a really crucial point. With renewals happening this often, trying to do it all by hand is just not a good idea. It's not sustainable and it's not recommended. Automation is really going to be your best friend here. And speaking of making automation easier, there's actually some new tech coming down the pipe that's designed to solve one of the biggest headaches in this whole process. Because let's be real, right now, one of the trickiest parts of automation is proving you own your domain over and over again. It often means giving your system access to some pretty sensitive parts of your setup, which nobody loves doing. So say hello to DNSPOS01. It's a brand new validation method. And the magic trick here is that the special DNS record you use to prove ownership, well, it doesn't have to change with every single renewal anymore. I mean, this is a huge leap forward. The old way, constantly updating a DNS record. The new way, it's basically set it and forget it. You get it configured one time, and your renewals can just happen in the background without you ever having to touch your DNS again. It just makes everything so much simpler.
And you can expect this new, much easier method to start rolling out sometime in 2026, which is, perfectly timed to help everyone with this whole transition.
So, what we're really seeing is security getting faster, more agile, and way more automated. The web is evolving to get ahead of threats, not just react to them, which I think leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. As this trend continues, what's going to be the next big leap forward for a safer internet for all of us?